Scarlett thought the worst part of being left after 10 years would be the betrayal. Then her husband locked her out of the company overnight, paraded his mistress as the new CEO, and told everyone the business was his. What he didn't know was whose name was on everything. If you've lived through something like this, you're not alone. Share your experience in the comments. Scarlett Hayes cooked dinner with her laptop open on the counter, payroll on the screen. Tomorrow at sunrise, direct deposits had to run. Her phone flashed a reminder she didn't remember creating. Friday, 10 a.m., Midtown, Hotel. The front door slammed. Brandon Cole Hayes rolled a suitcase across the living room and stopped in the doorway to the kitchen. "After 10 years of marriage, I'm leaving you to live with my mistress," he said. "I'm starting over." Scarlett kept her eyes on the approval queue. "Okay, payroll runs tomorrow. Are you approving it, or am I?" Brandon smiled like she'd said something cute. "There is no we anymore. The company is mine, completely." Scarlett nodded once, like he'd told her the trash pickup day. "Then you'll have no problem signing off on the payroll report," she said. "Because if 50 people don't get paid tomorrow, they're not going to call your new CEO. They'll call me." He reached to the key hook, yanked her office badge off the lanyard, and snapped it in half, calm as if it were an expired gym card. The pieces skittered across the tile. Scarlett set down the spoon, picked them up, and dropped them into the junk drawer beside spare batteries. She pushed the drawer shut and turned the burner down. Brandon raised his phone. "You want to meet your replacement?" He tapped FaceTime. Sloane Parker appeared in a bright apartment Scarlett didn't recognize, smiling as if this was a scheduled meeting. "We'll keep things professional," Sloane said. Scarlett looked at the screen. "Great. Professional means giving me payroll admin back before 9 a.m. Brandon ended the call and walked away without replying. Scarlett went back to the laptop. The payroll portal refreshed, then kicked her to the login page. She typed her password. Red text appeared. Password incorrect. Her phone buzzed with a bank alert tied to the business account. New login detected. She opened the banking app. A spinning wheel stalled, then a prompt asked for credentials she'd never needed. She hit reset and watched the verification code route to her company email, an inbox she couldn't reach anymore. She tried the company inbox in a browser tab. Two-factor popped up showing a phone number ending in Brandon's last 4 digits, as if the system needed his permission. On the porch, the doorbell camera chirped once, then the app showed offline. The red indicator light went dark. Brandon came through again long enough to grab a thick envelope off the table. Certified mail from the Georgia Secretary of State. He flipped it face down in one smooth motion and kept going, suitcase handle in his fist. At the door, he paused, glancing at Scarlett's phone where Midtown, Hotel, still glowed. "Friday," he said. "Everyone's going to know who the new CEO is." Scarlett's personal email pinged. A company-wide invite sent from Brandon's account. Announcement. New CEO, Friday, 10 a.m. She tapped the link and the page froze on 2 words. Access denied. The screen still read access denied. She drove to the office because payroll didn't care about drama and neither did the rent. The parking lot was half full. A few early shift employees were already at the side door, tapping badges and frowning at the reader. Scarlett walked up, pulled the broken pieces of her own badge from her pocket out of habit, then remembered and used the spare card she kept in her wallet. She swiped. The lock didn't click. One of the guys from shipping glanced at her and lowered his voice. "It's doing that to everyone," he said. Scarlett tried again. The reader blinked red. The receptionist, Denise, appeared behind the glass, eyes wide like Scarlett had shown up with the wrong uniform on. Denise cracked the door a couple inches. "Scarlett, I didn't know you were coming in," she said. "I work here," Scarlett said. Denise's gaze dipped to the badge pieces in Scarlett's hand, then slid away. "Brandon said you resigned," Denise said, like she was repeating something she'd been told to memorize. Scarlett's phone buzzed, then buzzed again. Messages stacked up from names she recognized and a few she didn't. Payroll didn't hit. Card got declined. Clients asking where the invoice is. She answered in short bursts without emojis, because nobody needed her tone right then. Checking. Don't promise anything yet. Forward me what you have. Who still has access to the accounting login? A manager named Todd eased up behind Denise's desk, leaning on the counter like he was just stopping by to chat. Hey, Todd said. This is a lot. Brandon told us you were taking personal time. Did he also tell you payroll is due in 6 hours? Scarlett asked. Todd shifted his weight and stared at a spot on the carpet. I'm just trying to keep the team calm, he said. 2 employees walked past, eyes forward, like Scarlett had become a liability you could catch by accident. Scarlett stepped back from the door and called the business bank. The automated menu recognized her number, then pushed her to a live agent anyway, as if the system had changed its mind about knowing her. Corporate accounts, a man said. How can I help you today? Someone locked me out of the company account, Scarlett said. I'm an authorized signer. Keys clicked on his end. I see a request to update the administrator and signer profile, he said. Submitted from Mr. Hayes. Cancel it, Scarlett said. We can't do that over the phone, he said. We need documentation. I can bring documentation, Scarlett said. Where do I send it? You'll want to speak with a branch manager, he said, voice flattening. Preferably with your attorney. Scarlett ended the call and drove home. The certified mail envelope was still on the kitchen table, face down the way Brandon had left it. She turned it over, tore it open, and shook it once. Nothing slid out. The only thing left was a jagged strip where the signature receipt should have been. Her phone lit up with a LinkedIn notification she didn't want. Sloane's profile photo filled the screen, chin lifted, hair perfect. The post said, "Humbled to announce a new chapter." Scarlett stared at it long enough to register the word humbled twice. The call from Marisol came a minute later. Tell me you took copies of your filings, Marisol said. No greeting, no warm-up. I took copies of everything, Scarlett said. I can't access half of it right now. Good, Marisol said. Stop texting Brandon. Screenshot every bank alert. Save that CEO meeting email. Meet me at my office in an hour. Scarlett looked back at Sloane's post. Does humbled include knowing where the approve payroll button is? She said. Marisol didn't laugh. That was the point. At Marisol's CPA office, Scarlett set her phone on the desk and started a folder on her personal laptop. Bank alerts, email proof, calendar, screenshots. Marisol pulled up the company's tax portal and began scrolling with the speed of someone who'd watched clients panic for a living. Look at this, Marisol said. EIN, filing contact, notices. It's all tied to you. Scarlett leaned forward, not touching the keyboard, letting Marisol drive. Marisol clicked into prior year documents, then into state accounts. The same name kept appearing in fields that were supposed to belong to the owner. Scarlett's. Scarlett's phone buzzed again. A text from an employee she barely knew. Forwarding this in case you didn't see it. An attachment followed. Scarlett opened it. The subject line alone made her grip tighten on the edge of the desk. Effective immediately, Scarlett is no longer with the company. Marisol breathed out once. They went with the corporate breakup text. Scarlett set the phone beside the keyboard. Pull up the state portal. Georgia Secretary of State. Business search. Marisol turned the monitor and typed. The business search page loaded, then listed the company name and a row of filings. There, Marisol said. Last week. Not the annual report. A change. Scarlett leaned in. The title sounded harmless. Updated management information and a new mailing address. The date stamped on it was 7 days old. Marisol opened the filing. Scarlett's name appeared under Authorized Person. The signature below looked right for half a second, then didn't. The S looped the way hers did, but the line weight stayed perfectly even, like a pen that never pressed down. Her real signature cut through the H without thinking. This one wobbled before the cross. That isn't mine, Scarlett said. Marisol clicked the confirmation details. Email from the state went out at 2:17 a.m. Exact. Scarlett checked the calendar on her phone. A week earlier, Brandon had told her he was staying late for a client. She'd nodded, reheated leftovers, and gone to bed. She called Bayline, the IT vendor that managed their accounts. After 2 transfers, a technician answered. Bayline support. This is Corey. This is Scarlett Hayes, she said. Why was my admin access removed from payroll and company email? Corey hesitated, then sounded rehearsed. We received an authorization request from Brandon Hayes. We have a letter on file. Send it, Scarlett said. We can only send that to the account on record. The account you just helped lock me out of, Scarlett said. Send it to my personal email. It's in your vendor profile. A pause, then a sigh. Okay, I'll send a scan. The file arrived a minute later. Company letterhead, typed body, her name printed under the signature line. The signature itself looked too clean, like it had been pressed onto the page instead of written. Marisol stared at it. They didn't even bother to be subtle. Scarlett's phone buzzed with a message from Jada in operations. Hey, the Friday conference room is booked as Sloan Day. I thought you knew. Scarlett replied with 3 words. Who booked it? Jada answered with a screenshot and another line. I can forward the invoice. Forward it, Scarlett wrote. While they waited, Marisol zoomed in on the filing's address field. That's not our P.O. box, Marisol said. That's a private mailbox service in Midtown. Scarlett glanced at her reminder. FRI, 10 a.m., Midtown, Hotel. Midtown again, like someone had circled it in red. Jada's invoice hit Scarlett's inbox as a PDF. Midtown Hotel Ballroom Rental, Media Setup, Event Name, Sloan Day, Payment Deadline, Today, Payment Method, Corporate Card ending in digits Scarlett knew from expense reports. Marisol lifted one finger, professor style. This isn't a tantrum, she said. This is a schedule. Scarlett scrolled to the cancellation policy, then to the payment line. He's paying for his announcement with payroll money. Marisol opened a new tab and started pulling older tax documents, comparing dates and names without commentary. If they're using your name to sign filings, she said, this wasn't impulsive. It's planned. He's trying to erase you on paper before Friday. Scarlett's phone chimed with an email from a longtime partner. Brandon says you sold your shares to him. We need confirmation before 5 p.m. Marisol slid the phone towards Scarlett. Don't answer that with a novel, she said. Answer with proof. Scarlett forwarded the message to her personal email, then typed a reply to the partner. I have not sold anything. I'll confirm in writing shortly. She didn't hit send yet. Marisol opened a new folder and started saving everything. The filing preview, the confirmation page, Corey's letter. She told Scarlett to screenshot the portal results, not just download, because downloads could mysteriously fail. Scarlett called the partner's office line anyway. His assistant picked up and sounded apologetic. He's in meetings all afternoon, she said. He asked for your confirmation before 5. She thanked her, hung up, and asked Marisol for a printer. Marisol printed the filing preview and stamped each page with the time from her computer clock. Paper is old-fashioned, Marisol said, but it doesn't disappear when someone changes the password. She didn't keep trying the download button. At 4:12, the clock had stopped being a suggestion. She gathered the printed pages Marisol had stamped, slid them into her tote, and drove to the office anyway. She wasn't going there to argue or beg. She needed the payroll binder, the tax file, and the login backup codes Brandon had insisted they keep in one safe place. If she could get those, she could pay people and keep the lights on. At the front door, a security guard she'd seen 100 times stepped into her path. He didn't look angry. He looked tired, like someone who'd been handed a problem before his first coffee. He held out a single sheet of paper. Ma'am, I can't let you in. Scarlett took it and read the header. Trespass notice. The name on the request line was Brandon Cole Hayes. The date was today. She kept her voice level. I'm not here to take anything that isn't company property. The guard shifted his stance. I know, but it's still a notice. Scarlett stepped aside, called Brandon, and put him on speaker. He answered on the second ring, too fast for someone who was in meetings. "Hey," Brandon said, breezy. "Just go home. Don't make yourself look bad." "You're making your employees look bad because you don't know how to run payroll," Scarlett said. Brandon made a small sound, like a chuckle he didn't commit to. "You always make this about logistics," he said. "This is personal." "It's direct deposit," Scarlett said. "It's personal to them." She heard movement on his end, then a door closing. "I already told everyone you resigned," he said. "It's cleaner." Scarlett looked at the paper in her hand. "Send me the authorization letter you used," she said. Brandon paused. "You don't need it," he said. "You're out." Sloane's voice cut in from behind the glass lobby doors. Scarlett turned and saw her near reception, holding a coffee cup with the Midtown Hotel logo. She looked polished in a way that made it obvious she hadn't been awake for payroll. "Please don't cause a scene," Sloane said, as if she were staff at a spa. Scarlett raised the trespass notice slightly. "Don't worry," she said. "I'm being asked to leave. Very professional." The guard avoided Sloane's eyes, like he didn't want to be drafted into anyone's story. Scarlett folded the paper, tucked it into her tote beside the stamped filings, and walked back toward her car. Before she reached the driver's door, her phone chimed with an email thread that included half the company. The subject line carried the client name in all caps, the way people write when they're already halfway gone. "Due to the leadership change and internal instability, we are canceling the renewal meeting," the client wrote. "We'll revisit once things settle." Todd had been CC'd. So had Brandon. So had Scarlett's old company address, which she couldn't open. Scarlett forwarded it to Marisol and typed one line to Todd from her personal account. "Do not reply until you have facts." No answer came back. As she started the car, another notification popped up, this one automated and bland. Coverage terminated. It listed her health plan and an end date that wasn't supposed to exist. She checked the benefits portal link she still had saved. It asked for the same company login she'd lost the night before. She didn't call Brandon again. She called Marisol. "He cut my insurance," Scarlett said. Marisol didn't ask how Scarlett felt about it. "He's trying to make you smaller," Marisol said. "Ethical doesn't protect you. Strategy does." Scarlett watched employees slip through the side entrance with their badges, heads down, pretending not to notice her in the lot. She opened the email from Bayline again and stared at the authorization letter scan. "I need a clean copy," she said to Marisol. "From them?" Marisol asked. "From anyone," Scarlett said. "I want the version they're using. I want the metadata. I want the trail." "Then we pull it," Marisol said. "We document everything." Scarlett ended the call and sat for a moment with both hands on the steering wheel, not to steady herself, just to keep from doing something pointless. Her phone buzzed with a new message, a screenshot forwarded by someone in HR. It was a memo titled, "Scarlett voluntarily resigned." Beneath it, a line in plain corporate language warned employees not to contact her outside official channels. Scarlett looked up at the front doors and caught her reflection in the glass, tote bag on her shoulder, like a stranger waiting for permission. She opened the memo again, zoomed in on the sender's name, and started walking toward the bank branch across the street, dialing the manager's line without looking back. The manager she'd met during account setup, a woman named Renee, greeted her with the careful smile people use when they've read an email chain they can't repeat. "I need view access restored and any signer changes frozen," Scarlett said. Renee lowered her voice. "We got a request from Mr. Hayes to change the admin profile. Without a court order or your operating documents, I can't override it." Scarlett slid the stamped state filing printout across the desk. "My name is on the registration. Here's the timestamp." Renee scanned it, then shook her head. "This isn't enough for compliance. Bring the operating agreement, the EIN letter, anything showing ownership, today." Scarlett walked out with a list instead of a solution. In her car, she texted Marisol. "Need operating agreement plus EIN letter. Bank wants proof." Marisol replied, "Already digging. Come back." At Marisol's office, folders were spread across the conference table like a tax audit had exploded. Marisol pointed to a PDF labeled Operating Agreement, 2018. Look at Section 2, Marisol said. Scarlett read the names. Her name appeared as member, authorized signer, and managing member in more places than Brandon's. It wasn't flattering. It was administrative. The kind of thing she'd agreed to because someone had to sign. Marisol clicked again and pulled up a UCC search result. A financing statement listed Scarlett Hayes as the debtor on a business loan. Scarlett's jaw tightened. I never signed for that. I believe you, Marisol said. But someone filed it, and lenders treat filings like facts until you force them not to. Scarlett kept her hands flat on the table. The practical part of her wanted to keep this contained. Settle, get payroll running, let Brandon have his tantrum somewhere else. The other part saw the Midtown invite and the press list growing legs. Marisol's phone pinged. She turned the screen toward Scarlett. An email screenshot from the hotel coordinator. Friday, 10 a.m., Midtown Hotel Ballroom. Media list confirmed. Scarlett stared at the line as if it might blink. He's making it public. That's the point, Marisol said. If he says it loud enough, people stop asking for paperwork. Scarlett opened a new note on her phone and typed 2 columns, safe and risky. Safe meant negotiations, silence, and letting Brandon write the story first. It also meant paying for peace with her signature later. Risky meant filing for an emergency injunction and a temporary restraining order to stop asset transfers. Risky meant her personal life becoming office gossip on camera. She closed the note without saving it and reached for the folder. Her phone rang. Brandon's name showed. She answered because letting it go to voicemail wouldn't stop him from narrating. Scar, don't do anything dramatic, he said. We can settle this like adults. I'll give you a check and you sign off. You keep your dignity. What does sign off mean? She asked. It means you stop interfering, he said, and you stop talking to my people. They're also my people, Scarlett said. They're employees, Brandon snapped. Don't make me protect the company from you. She ended the call and sent Marisol one line. He's offering hush money. Then she deleted the note titled Safe, left unsaved. Give me every piece of proof we have, Scarlett said. Marisol didn't cheer. She just started stacking documents. Bank alerts, the state portal screenshots, Corey's authorization letter from Bayline, the HR memo about resignation, the Midtown invoice with the corporate card number. Marisol added a printed copy of Sloane's LinkedIn post because it showed timing. I know a business attorney, Marisol said. She's blunt and expensive. Schedule it, Scarlett said. They met the attorney, Dana Kim, in a small office near downtown. Dana listened without interrupting, flipping through pages with a pen in her hand. When Scarlett finished, Dana looked up. What do you want the court to do? Dana asked. Scarlett didn't raise her voice. I want them to stop using my name like a one-time password. Dana's mouth twitched once, then she nodded, as if that translated cleanly into legal terms. Here's what we do, Dana said. We send a demand letter to the bank and your vendors today. We file for a temporary restraining order and an injunction to freeze access and prevent transfers before Friday. We document the impersonation and the forged authorization. If he escalates, he owns the consequences. Scarlett signed the engagement letter with the same pen she used for payroll approvals. Dana slid the retainer invoice across the desk, and Scarlett authorized the payment from her personal account without comment. Her phone vibrated on the tabletop before she capped the pen. A text from an unknown number appeared. If you go to court Friday, you'll be a joke. Scarlett didn't answer the unknown number. She turned the phone toward Dana Kim. Save it, Dana said. Screenshot it. Do not reply. Dana tapped out an email address and slid a card across the table. Forward every threat to me, she said. If he wants a record, we'll give him one. Marisol leaned over Scarlett's shoulder, snapping photos of the screen. Scarlett watched her hands move. Screenshot, save, rename the file with a date. It felt like payroll, just uglier. Dana filed the TRO request that afternoon and marked it urgent. She also sent Brandon's attorney a short notice that Scarlett would not communicate directly and that any access changes were disputed. The wording was flat, boring, which somehow made it sharper. By evening, the bank called back. Renee couldn't restore control, but she could grant Scarlett view-only access long enough to print statements. "It's not much," Renee said, "but you can see what's happening." Scarlett opened the portal and watched the transaction list populate, line by line. She couldn't move money, couldn't stop payments, couldn't even change a password. She could only observe. "Fantastic," she muttered. "I'm a spectator in my own checking account." The latest charges answer questions Brandon hadn't bothered to deny. A payment to a PR agency. A deposit to Midtown Hotel. A vendor invoice labeled branding package with a rush fee that cost more than employees' car notes. 2 wire requests sat in pending status, flagged by the bank's fraud filter. Scarlett printed everything and stapled it in order. Marisol highlighted the charges with a yellow marker, fast and precise. "Pending is good," Marisol said. "Pending means someone hesitated." While they worked, Scarlett's phone filled with messages that arrived like whispers. "You okay? Is payroll dead? HR said not to call you, but..." Scarlett answered each one with the same sentence. "I'm handling it through the proper process." Some replied with thumbs up, some with nothing. At least they were reading. Near midnight, an email came from the hotel coordinator, forwarded by an employee who still had access. The subject line had been updated. Time change. Friday, 8:30 a.m., Midtown Hotel Ballroom. Media list expanded. Additional outlets confirmed. Marisol stared at it. "They moved it up," she said. "They're racing the court." Scarlett saved the email, then saved it again as a PDF. Dana had told her not to improvise. Evidence was routine, not a mood. When Scarlett finally drove home, her porch camera notification blinked and then vanished. The app showed offline again, same as the night Brandon left. Across the street, a dark sedan sat at the curb longer than a delivery pickup. Scarlett parked, stayed in the car, and watched the sedan's brake lights flare. It rolled away without turning on a signal. She went straight to the front door and checked the camera hardware with her fingers. The casing felt warm, like it had been handled recently. She didn't pry it open. She photographed it, then stepped back and went in. Dana called while Scarlett was washing a coffee mug she hadn't used. "Brandon filed a response," Dana said. "He's asking the judge to deny everything." "What's his story?" Scarlett asked. "That you resigned voluntarily," Dana said, "and that you already agreed to transfer your interest." Dana emailed a PDF. Scarlett opened it and saw a settlement agreement with her name typed cleanly at the top. The signature at the bottom looked like hers until the last stroke. Scarlett's usual cross on the H cut slightly left, quick and impatient. This one crossed too centered, like someone aiming. Marisol leaned in and pointed. "He practiced," she said. "Or he traced." Dana's voice stayed even. "We'll challenge it," she said. "But this is why you don't meet him alone. He's building paper around you." Scarlett forwarded the bank statements, the hotel invoice, the IT letter, and the forged settlement in one thread. Dana replied with a single line. "Good. Keep going." On the drive from Marisol's office back to her neighborhood, Scarlett kept the radio off and the windows up. Every stoplight felt like an extra second someone could use to decide something for her. At home, the porch light didn't turn on when she stepped onto the stoop. She noticed because it did. She reached under the mat for the spare key anyway, and her fingers hit paper. A thin envelope had been wedged beneath the mat. No stamp, no return address. Scarlett pulled it free, tore it open, and unfolded a printed page from a local blog. The headline was bold and smug. "Ex-wife disrupts company after sudden split." She got her phone to turn back on by the time the sun was up, using a charger she didn't trust and a wall outlet she did. The hearing alert reappeared, then updated into something worse. The court had accepted Brandon's response packet, and the emergency slot was pushed back. Dana Kim called before Scarlett could forward the screenshot. They filed a thick response and asked for more time, Dana said. The judge granted a short delay. If they move assets before we get in front of the court, we'll be chasing them for a long time. Scarlett didn't argue with the math. She opened the bank portal, refreshed the page, and watched the same helpless view-only screen load. A new alert landed on top of it. Attempted wire transfer. Before she could open the details, another message popped up. This one forwarded from an employee group thread sent by HR's interim lead. Reminder: any employee who contacts Scarlett Hayes outside official channels will be subject to discipline. Scarlett stared at the sentence until it stopped feeling like English and started feeling like a door locking. She didn't respond to the group. She forwarded it to Dana, then sent one text to Marisol. HR threats are in writing now. Her phone rang from a number she recognized but hadn't seen in months. It was Liam, a former supervisor who'd once been close enough to eat Thanksgiving at their house. He didn't say hello, and he didn't say her name. "They're walking around with packets," Liam said, voice tight. "They're collecting signatures from employees, like a statement against you." "Who's leading it?" Scarlett asked. "I can't," he started. "Liam," Scarlett said. "It's coming from Brandon," he blurted. "And HR. They're saying it's to protect the company." "Did you sign anything?" Scarlett asked. "No," he said. "I'm not stupid." Then he hung up so fast, Scarlett heard the call disconnect click. An email from Dana arrived seconds later, forwarded from Brandon's attorney. The subject line called it a good faith proposal. The attachment was a settlement offer that read like a coupon with a gag clause, a small payout, an NDA, and a promise to avoid unnecessary public escalation. Brandon had added a note in the body of the email, the kind that tried to sound human while staying on lawyer letterhead. "Scarlett, don't make me do something ugly in front of people." Scarlett didn't reply. She printed it, stapled it to the forged agreement from last night, and put both in a folder labeled Brandon's paper. Then she drove to the bank again because attempted wire transfers didn't wait for court calendars. Renee met her at the counter and guided her to a side desk. She looked like she'd already been warned that Scarlett might raise her voice. "I need to freeze outgoing wires," Scarlett said. "I have an attempted transfer alert. I'm telling you, it's not authorized." Renee glanced toward an office, then back. "I can't freeze it without proof you currently have signing authority," she said. "Compliance wants documentation, operating agreement, membership record, court order." Scarlett set her stamped filings on the desk, then the transaction printouts Marisol had highlighted, then the Bayline authorization letter. Renee's eyes moved over the pile without touching it. "I'm sorry," Renee said. "I understand what you're saying, but I need the correct proof." A teller walked by and looked at Scarlett the way people look at someone standing in the wrong line. Scarlett kept her voice even, the way she did when a vendor missed a deadline. "I've been fired from my own bank account," she said. "If there's a form for that, I'd love a copy." Renee's mouth tightened, not quite a smile, not quite permission. "I'll escalate to our fraud team," Renee said. "That's the most I can do today." Scarlett left the branch with nothing signed and no guarantees, only a promise that someone would review. In the parking lot, Marisol called. "I pulled more from the tax archive," Marisol said. "Most of the filings are yours. Your signature, your contact info, your addresses. But some pages are missing from the chain." "Missing how?" Scarlett asked. "Like someone removed a page from a packet," Marisol said. "You can still see the cover sheet and the confirmation email, but not the page that lists members. It's not all of them, just enough to create doubt." Scarlett drove home and found the same dark sedan across the street again. It wasn't parked neatly, and it didn't look like a neighbor's guest. When Scarlett walked up her driveway, the porch camera app flickered and switched to offline right as she reached the mailbox. She didn't touch the camera. She photographed the screen, then checked the mail with her key ready in her hand. Her phone rang with a number she didn't recognize. The caller ID showed a law office name. Scarlett answered. "This is Attorney Blake Harmon," a man said. "I represent the Midtown Hotel regarding your upcoming event space contract." Scarlett didn't correct him, yet. "What about it?" "We received a call requesting cancellation," he said. "The caller claimed you were attempting to sabotage the booking." Scarlett tightened her grip on the mailbox door. "That wasn't me," she said. "I don't have access to the company card, and you should treat any changes as disputed." "I'll note that," Harmon said. "But you should be aware the hotel has a right to protect itself from disruption." As he spoke, an email pushed through on Scarlett's phone. Subject line bold and cheerful, like it was selling something. "Media advisory. New CEO announcement." The time had been moved up again. Scarlett opened it, thumb hovering over forward, while Harmon kept talking. Scarlett forwarded the media advisory to Dana before she finished speaking to the hotel attorney. When the call ended, she stood by her mailbox, phone pressed to her ear, and watched the new timestamp. Friday, 8 a.m. Marisol texted an address and a single line. "Come now. I found the why." Scarlett drove to Marisol's office with the blog headline folded in her pocket like a bad receipt. Marisol met her at the door, didn't offer coffee, and walked straight to the back conference room where file boxes sat open. "I pulled the first-year bank documents," Marisol said. "The stuff you filed when you two started this." She slid a packet across the table. On top was an email thread from 2018, printed and stapled, with Brandon's name in the sender line. Scarlett read the subject. "Account application declined." Marisol tapped the second page. "They wouldn't open a business account with him as the primary," she said. "They cited credit issues and a prior legal restriction. I don't know the details, but it was enough to trigger a denial." Scarlett didn't ask what restriction. She already knew Brandon carried old problems the way some people carried gym memberships they never used. Marisol flipped to the next printout, an email from Brandon to Scarlett. "Babe, just put it under your name. It's a formality. I can't have the stuff attached to me. We'll fix it later." Below that was Scarlett's reply from 10 years ago. 3 words and a thumbs up she didn't remember sending. "Okay, I'll handle." Marisol pointed at the timestamp. "He wrote this at 2:06 a.m., she said. "Sound familiar?" Scarlett pulled up the state filing screenshot on her phone. The confirmation email time was still there, 2:17 a.m., a week ago. The same hour Brandon had claimed he was with a client. The same hour her access started to vanish. Marisol opened another folder labeled Home Security. She'd asked Scarlett for the camera service login months ago when they helped a neighbor. The activity log showed 2 outages: the night Brandon rolled his suitcase out, and the morning the certified letter arrived. Both listed a manual restart from a device Scarlett didn't recognize. Marisol slid the screen toward her. "Someone was babysitting your door," Marisol said. Scarlett said, "He planned the exits, too." Marisol kept going, laying out the pattern without calling it one. Your name on the licenses. Your name on the bank profile. Your email on tax notices, she said. "And now he's staging you as unstable so he can tell the bank you're not fit to sign." Scarlett opened the HR memo again. Voluntarily resigned. Do not contact. The language suddenly matched the story Brandon wanted to sell. She'd left. She was emotional. She didn't have her hands on the wheel. Marisol slid another sheet forward. An old vendor contract with Scarlett's signature block. "He can't change these cleanly without you," Marisol said, "so he's trying to make you irrelevant first." Scarlett's phone rang. Unknown number, but the voicemail transcription popped up before she could decline. It was a vendor rep. "We received instructions to switch the owner contact on your service agreement," the message read. "If you are the owner, we need your signature by 4 p.m. today or we will pause service." Marisol glanced at the clock on the wall. 3:18. Scarlett looked at the stack of papers, then the clock again. "I hate cardio," she said. "But apparently life wants me doing deadline sprints." Marisol opened her laptop and pulled up Dana's email draft. Dana had written 3 versions of a notice: bank, vendors, and the hotel. Each one said the same thing in different words. Ownership disputed. Signatures challenged. Do not rely on Brandon's claims. Dana called while Marisol attached exhibits. "You're seeing it now," Dana said. "This is a narrative play. He's trying to create facts by repetition." If the court reads the documents, he loses, Marisol said, loud enough for Dana to hear on speaker. Eventually, Dana replied. But eventually doesn't repair contracts canceled this week. We have to slow the damage. Scarlett signed an authorization form that allowed Dana to send warnings on her behalf. Her signature landed clean, the cross on the H slightly left, the way it always did when she wasn't thinking about it. Marisol scanned the page and hit send from Scarlett's personal email account, the only one that still worked. Scarlett watched the outbox populate. Bank notice, vendor notice, hotel notice, each with attachments labeled and dated. The first message changed status from sending to a gray bar that read, "Delivery delayed." Scarlett leaned closer and tapped the alert, thumb hovering as if pressure alone could force it through. Marisol tried resending from a different network, then from her phone hotspot. The messages left the outbox one at a time, but each landed in the same limbo. Dana called back within minutes. "The hotel needs final confirmation by close of business," she said. "They're saying you're the one trying to cancel." "And the bank is escalating," Dana continued. "If they can't verify a valid signer, they may freeze the account because of the dispute." "We have two paths," Dana said. "We focus on court only, let the press event happen, and win on paper later. Or we file harder and we warn the hotel, the bank, and every vendor again, which puts you in the public fight now." Marisol held up the printed filing packet like it weighed more than paper. "Harder how?" she asked. "It means an emergency supplement and a direct notice to the hotel's counsel," Dana said. "It also means your husband will tell anyone with a microphone that you're unstable and vindictive." Scarlett looked at the highlighted bank statement. 2 pending wires, a rush fee for brand refresh. She pictured the payroll list, names and routing numbers, not as numbers, but as mortgages and daycare bills. Being disliked was survivable. Watching people miss rent because Brandon wanted a stage was not. "Do both," Scarlett said. "File what you need and send whatever stops the hotel from pretending I'm the saboteur." "Understood," Dana said. "But you need to be ready for blowback today, not Friday." Marisol opened the staff contact list she'd been keeping off the company systems. "Let me message the ones I trust," she said. "Short and boring." Scarlett nodded. "Tell them payroll is being handled through legal channels," she said. "Tell them not to sign any statement they haven't read, even if HR says it's routine." Marisol typed fast, then hit send, one name at a time, avoiding group blasts. Her phone kept chiming with replies that were nothing but, "Got it. Thank you." Dana emailed the draft partner notice with 3 sentences and no adjectives. Scarlett read it, then copied it into a new email to the partner who'd demanded confirmation by 5. She attached the state registration screenshot and Dana's letterhead notice. Scarlett hit send and watched the timer on the corner of her screen change from 3:46 to 3:47. Another bank alert landed. "Account under review due to dispute. Temporary restrictions may apply." She printed that too, because printing had become her version of breathing. Dana sent a link for an electronic affidavit. "Sign this now," she said. "It states you did not authorize any transfer or resignation. It will go with the supplement." Scarlett signed on her phone, careful not to overthink the loops. Marisol watched her hand like she was timing a race. Dana called once more. "I'm sending a courier to the hotel with a dispute notice," she said. "But if they refuse delivery, we may need you there to confirm identity." "Do not get pulled into a shouting match." "I won't," Scarlett said. "I'm bringing documents, not feelings." Marisol gathered the thick folder, slid it into a plain tote, and handed Scarlett her car keys like they were evidence. Her phone rang again, this time with a vendor name she recognized from monthly invoices. Northside Managed Print. She answered on speaker. "Scarlett, we got a request to change the contract owner to Brandon Hayes," the rep said. "Our system needs a signature by 4 or service pauses automatically." "Email it to Dana Kim," Scarlett said. "And copy me. If you pause anything, it will be a breach you can explain to a judge." A beat, then the rep lowered her voice. "Okay," she said. "I'll send it right now." Marisol didn't look surprised. That's how they squeeze oxygen, she said. Not by arguing, by interrupting services. Scarlett zipped her tote and checked the payroll spreadsheet saved on her personal drive. Every minute Brandon spent selling a story was a minute she spent preventing collateral damage. If people decided she was the villain, she could live with that. She couldn't live with pretending it didn't matter. Dana's assistant emailed confirmation that the hotel notice had been received by council, along with a warning. They may still proceed. Scarlett pulled into the Midtown Hotel garage with a manila envelope on the seat and Dana's last text pinned on her lock screen. Don't get pulled in. She left the phone face down anyway, grabbed the folder, and walked toward the ballroom signs. At the lobby kiosk, a digital board flashed, "Welcome! New CEO announcement," with arrows pointing to Ballroom C. A uniformed security guard stepped in front of the corridor and held up a hand. "Morning, ma'am," he said. "Your name's on the not allowed list. I can't let you through." "I'm not here to attend. I'm here to deliver a legal notice to your event manager." "You can email it," he said, nodding at the sign. Scarlett looked past him through the glass doors. Brandon stood in front of a step and repeat with the company logo, adjusting his suit jacket as if it were a tie at a wedding. Sloane hovered beside him, microphone in hand, smiling at the small cluster of reporters filing in. When Brandon noticed Scarlett at the corridor entrance, he lifted 2 fingers in a lazy wave and grinned, like he'd just spotted a fan. Scarlett kept the envelope tucked under her arm and asked the guard for the event manager's name. "Ms. Holloway. She's busy. You'll need to go through email." Scarlett flagged down a hotel employee with a clipboard and a badge that read, "Events." "I need Ms. Holloway for 1 minute. It's about a disputed contract change." "She's in the ballroom," the employee said, already backing away. The guard shifted to block Scarlett again, shoulders square. "I'm sorry. Not allowed means not allowed." Scarlett pulled out Dana's letter on firm letterhead and held it out. "Can you at least accept this and confirm receipt? It's time sensitive." "I can't sign for it," he said. "Send it to the email on the contract." From the ballroom doorway, a burst of applause rose as more attendees took seats. Scarlett watched a reporter raise a phone, the red live icon visible even from the hall. Brandon tapped the microphone and started talking, voice amplified and smooth. "First, I want to thank everyone for being here during a transition. Scarlett Hayes has chosen to step away for personal health reasons. She's been under a lot of stress, and we're giving her time to heal." A couple of people murmured sympathetically. Someone near the door nodded like they'd always suspected. Scarlett didn't step forward. She opened her notes app, typed Brandon's exact phrasing, and saved it with the time. She glanced at the LED board again and said under her breath, "They even welcome me out of my own life." Her phone lit up with a message from a partner contact, a screenshot of the live stream, and a single sentence. "We're pausing work until this is clear." Scarlett forwarded it to Dana without comment. Dana replied almost immediately, "Don't go in. That's what they want. They're trying to bait you into a scene." Another notification followed, this one from the court clerk. "TRO, not signed. Hearing required." Scarlett read it once, then put the phone away and turned back toward the elevators. On her way out, she saw Sloane in the side corridor with 2 hotel staff, pointing at a seating chart and speaking as if she owned the building. "Make sure the front table is reserved for the media and keep the hallway clear." Sloane's eyes flicked to Scarlett for a beat, then away, like Scarlett was a maintenance issue. Scarlett didn't respond and kept walking. Outside, she crossed the lobby, past the gift shop, and pushed through the revolving door into the garage heat. Her phone vibrated again in her coat pocket. She didn't answer, but she glanced at the caller ID. Another blocked number. Near the valet stand, 2 employees from her company stood with lanyards on, watching the crowd flow toward Ballroom C. One spotted her and looked away fast. The other mouthed, "Are you okay?" without sound. Scarlett lifted the folder a little and gave a single nod. A hotel attendant stepped toward her and lowered his voice. "Ma'am, they asked us to call security if you return." "Noted," Scarlett said, and kept moving. She didn't slow down until the ramp. She reached her car and found a man in a button-down shirt waiting by the driver's side, holding a thick envelope and a clipboard. "Scarlett Hayes?" She paused, keys in her hand. "Yes?" "You've been served," he said, offering the envelope. "These are legal documents from Brandon Cole Hayes." Scarlett waited until the garage had swallowed the sound from the ballroom. She set the served envelope on the passenger seat, pulled it open with her thumb, and scanned the first page without unfolding the rest. "Petition for temporary protective order," it read, followed by her name and Brandon's. She flipped to the allegations. Harassment, interference, threatening business operations, request for her to stay away from the office, the staff, and any company-related locations. Brandon's signature sat at the bottom like he'd signed a menu. Her phone buzzed with a new message from Jada. It was a photo of an HR memo posted on the company intranet. "Employees must sign acknowledgement that Scarlett Hayes voluntarily resigned and has no ownership interest," it said. Beneath that was a reminder about discipline for unauthorized contact. Scarlett forwarded the image to Dana, then started the car and drove home, keeping the documents flat on the seat so nothing would crumple. At a red light, she opened the camera app and took a quick photo of the petition pages, then emailed the images to herself, subject line, "Served, Midtown." Marisol called before Scarlett reached the highway. "Something's wrong with my cloud folder," Marisol said, words packed tight. "The backup we made of your operating agreement and the state filings. Someone accessed it." "What changed?" Scarlett asked. "Files got renamed," Marisol said. "Some are missing. A couple are sitting in a new folder called Old Drafts, like we're the ones who organized it." Scarlett didn't ask how. She had enough ways in her head already. "Lock it down," she said. "Export whatever's left to a drive." "I'm doing it now," Marisol said. "And there's more. My office got a request for documents because of a complaint about tax reporting. It's nonsense, but it forces us to respond." "So they're tying up your time," Scarlett said. "Exactly," Marisol said. "They're trying to drown us in process." At home, Scarlett carried the legal packet to the kitchen table, laid it beside her stapled evidence folder, and checked the porch camera app. Offline again. Across the street, the same dark sedan sat at the curb. Scarlett didn't wave, didn't stare. She took a picture of the car with her phone, then walked back to the front door. A neighbor, Mrs. Callahan, was watering plants 2 houses down. She looked up with the alert curiosity of someone who'd seen a headline. "Scarlett?" Mrs. Callahan called. "Everything okay? I heard there's something going on with your company." "I'm handling it," Scarlett said. Mrs. Callahan nodded too hard, as if that answered the part she hadn't asked. "Well," she said, drawing the word out, "I just hope you two keep it civil." Scarlett stepped into her driveway and checked her phone. One of Brandon's cousins had unfriended her. A mutual friend's profile no longer showed a message button. She put the phone away and went to her car for the evidence folder. The passenger door didn't latch smoothly. Scarlett tried again. It caught on the second push. She noticed a thin scrape near the lock, fresh enough to still look pale against the paint. She leaned closer, then opened the door and checked the glove compartment. The thick filing packet she'd printed the day before was there, but it felt wrong in her hands. She set it on the seat and flipped through. The signature page was missing. The page with the member list and the dated initials that would tie the whole packet together. The staples had been bent and recrimped. Scarlett didn't say anything. She closed the folder, grabbed what remained, and walked back inside to call Dana. Dana answered quickly. "Did you open what he served?" she asked. "Yes," Scarlett said. "He's claiming harassment and asking for distance orders." "Expected," Dana said. "We'll oppose it. More important, do you still have the complete operating agreement packet?" Scarlett placed the folder on the table and turned pages as if the paper might grow back. "One page is missing," she said. "The signature page." There was a pause in the line, then Dana's voice tightened. "If that page is missing, they'll say you made the rest up." Scarlett looked out the window at the sedan across the street, then down at the porch camera app still showing offline. She held the phone away from her ear, pulled up her photo gallery, and scrolled to the picture she'd taken of the scrape near the lock. "I think someone got into my car," she said. "Don't touch anything else," Dana said. "Photograph it. File a police report. Chain of custody matters now." Scarlett set her phone on speaker and walked to the car again, taking photos of the lock, the bent staples, the folder's torn edge. Under the windshield wiper, something white caught her eye. It wasn't there earlier. She slid the paper out from under the rubber blade and unfolded it with 2 fingers. 3 words, printed in plain black type. "Stop digging." Dana kept talking through the speaker, asking where Scarlett was, but she stared at the note while the wiper snapped back into place. She photographed it, bagged it in a sandwich zip bag, and filed a police report at the precinct 5 miles away. The officer wrote, "Possible vehicle entry," and gave her a case number, nothing more. Dana told her to keep moving anyway. Payroll was still due, and the company's main account was a hostage. Dana walked her through a temporary fix: minimum net pay from Scarlett's personal savings, documented as an emergency advance to be reconciled after court. Scarlett opened a spreadsheet and started choosing who couldn't wait first before the rumors reached their landlords. Marisol helped by pulling last month's payroll register so Scarlett wouldn't miss taxes. They used Dana's template memo, sent privately to each employee. The payment would be late, but it would arrive, and no one had to sign anything from HR. Replies came back in short bursts. "I trust you. Thank you for telling us." At the bank, Renee agreed to flag any outgoing wires as suspicious until the hearing, even if she couldn't restore control. She printed a fraud review receipt and slid it across the desk. Scarlett kept it like a boarding pass for a flight she booked. That afternoon, a message arrived from Keisha Grant in customer support, a woman Scarlett had once helped cover a motel bill when her son was in the hospital. "Scarlett, I don't know what's true," Keisha wrote, "but I kept a scan you emailed me years ago, the formation packet with signatures and dates. I can bring it." Scarlett replied with an address that wasn't her home. "Bluebird Diner by the courthouse," she wrote. 5:15. Sit near the window." Keisha answered, "Okay, I'll bring a thumb drive and paper." Scarlett sent Dana the plan, then drove out before anyone could follow. Keisha was already there, hands wrapped around a water glass. She slid a small envelope across the table and didn't touch it again. "My manager said you're unstable," she said. "I'm stable enough to pay people," Scarlett said. Keisha nodded, pulled out a USB, and added 3 printed emails. The chain was from the company's first month. Brandon had written, "Put it under your name just for now," and attached the complete filing packet. The metadata showed it was sent from his account. Keisha watched Scarlett's face and asked, "Is this what you needed?" Scarlett tucked it away and stood. Marisol verified the USB on her office computer, checking headers and timestamps like a surgeon. The missing signature page was there, clean and dated, matching the state confirmation record. Dana joined by speakerphone. "That email is gold," Dana said. "It shows intent, and it shows he knew you were the filer." Dana drafted new notices, attaching the original packet and Keisha's printouts. Within an hour, Renee emailed back. Until the hearing, the bank would freeze all administrative changes requested by Brandon. Scarlett printed that confirmation twice and clipped it to the front of the folder before leaving for Dana. Scarlett reread Brandon's old line, just for now, and let it sit without comment until Marisol raised an eyebrow. "He really left a receipt for betrayal," Scarlett said. "Very thoughtful." Her phone rang with a number Dana had warned about. Brandon's attorney spoke first, tone softer than before. "My client would like to revisit settlement," he said. "NDA, reasonable payment, quick divorce terms." Dana took the call on three-way and asked for everything in writing. Minutes later, Marisol showed Scarlett screenshots. Sloan had deleted her humbled post, but employees had already saved copies. Scarlett forwarded them to Dana. Payroll math waited tonight. With Dana's guidance, Scarlett issued emergency advances to the most vulnerable employees first, documenting each amount and asking them to sign a simple receipt acknowledging repayment would come from future payroll once the account reopened. No one complained about the paperwork. They complained about Brandon's timing. One employee replied, "Tell him my landlord doesn't accept press releases." Scarlett didn't react. She logged each transfer, then sent another short update through Marisol's list. "Do not sign HR statements," it read. "If anyone pressures you, forward it to me or Dana." Replies came back. "Understood. Got it. Thanks from people who cared." By late afternoon, Scarlett walked into Dana's office with Keisha's packet, the bank freeze email, and photos of the tampered staples. Dana opened the folder, flipped to Brandon's 2018 message, and tapped the screen where his attachment name matched the state record. "Now we have something the court can read," Dana said. She slid a calendar printout across the desk and pointed at a time block. Scarlett's phone buzzed at the same moment with a court notification. Dana didn't reach for it. Scarlett glanced down and saw the subject line, "Hearing confirmed. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., while she was still signing the updated affidavit. Scarlett arrived at Fulton County Courthouse before 9, with a plain tote, a printed exhibit list, and Dana Kim walking beside her. The security line moved in short bursts. Scarlett emptied her pockets, passed through the scanner, and collected her keys without looking around. Dana handed the clerk a motion packet at the window and asked for the assigned courtroom. A bailiff pointed down the hall. Scarlett followed, keeping the tote strap tight against her shoulder. The hallway was crowded with people holding folders and coffee cups, all trying to look like they belonged there. Brandon Cole Hayes stood near the double doors with his attorney, Elliot Crane, who wore a bright tie and a bored smile. Sloane Parker hovered on Brandon's other side in a fitted blazer, clutching a folder so empty it bent when she squeezed it. Brandon saw Scarlett and smirked as if the court was his stage. Dana touched Scarlett's elbow once, a small cue to keep moving. They entered the courtroom and took the table to the left. Scarlett sat, set the tote on the floor, and lined up copies of the operating agreement, bank letters, and tax notices with their tabs facing out. Across the aisle, Brandon whispered to Elliot and laughed under his breath. Sloane placed her empty folder on the table like a trophy, then checked her phone. Dana leaned toward Scarlett and spoke low. "Answer only what the judge asks." Scarlett nodded and set her phone face down. The court clerk called other matters, names and case numbers rattling off. Sloane adjusted her blazer twice, clutching that folder. When the judge entered, everyone rose, then sat as the bailiff called the case. Elliot spoke first, voice confident and loud enough for the gallery. "Your Honor, this is a domestic dispute being dressed up as corporate litigation." He gestured towards Scarlett without looking at her. "Miss Hayes is a spouse with no real role. Mr. Hayes built and operates the company, so he owns it. She is trying to interfere because the marriage ended." The judge asked Scarlett to speak. Scarlett stood, hands at her sides, and kept her eyes on the bench. "I own the company," she said. Elliot let out a sharp laugh. A couple of people behind Brandon chuckled, the kind that assumed the punchline was obvious. Brandon leaned back in his chair, pleased. Scarlett sat down without adding anything. Dana didn't look at Elliot. She simply slid a stack of exhibits to the clerk. Dana rose and spoke in a calm, workday tone. "Your Honor, we are not asking you to guess who worked harder. We are asking you to read the filings." She handed up the state registration, the EIN letter, prior tax submissions, bank signature cards, vendor contracts, and the operating agreement with the full signature page restored. She added the email chain from the first year, showing Brandon asking Scarlett to put the company under her name. The clerk carried the binders to the judge. The judge flipped through the top binder, pausing at the state documents and the banking pages. He read without rushing, eyes moving line by line. Brandon's foot tapped once, then stopped. Sloane's smile tightened as the judge reached the operating agreement. The judge looked up. "The name on the business registration and the associated licenses is Scarlett Hayes," he said. He turned another page. "The tax identification filings and bank authorization list her as the lawful owner and authorized signer." Elliot started to speak, but the judge raised a hand. "I am also concerned by indications of unauthorized changes and possible forged signatures," the judge said. He glanced toward Dana. "Counsel, submit this for further review. For now, the court will preserve the status quo." Brandon leaned forward. "This is ridiculous," he blurted. The bailiff shifted, and the judge's voice hardened. Mr. Hayes, you will not interrupt. Sit down. Dana requested temporary control to prevent transfers before the next hearing date. The judge nodded, wrote a note, and spoke to the clerk. Effective immediately, access and operational control remain with Ms. Hayes pending further proceedings. No administrative changes are to be made without court approval. Brandon's face flushed. He twisted toward Sloane and whispered something tight and fast. Sloane's cheeks drained of color, and her empty folder slipped off her lap onto the floor. The clerk approached Scarlett with the written order and a pen. Miss Hayes, please sign here to acknowledge receipt, she said. Scarlett stood, took the pen, and leaned over the counter, keeping her tote close. Behind her, Brandon hissed a curse that caught in his throat when the bailiff glanced his way. She drove home alone from the courthouse, Dana's stamped order tucked in a folder on the passenger seat. She didn't call anyone on the way. At the stoplight near her subdivision, she checked the screen once, saw 3 missed calls from unknown numbers, and let them sit. In the driveway, she carried the tote, the folder, and her keys, then paused when the porch camera app still showed offline. She took one photo of the blank status, pocketed her phone, and went through the front door. Her shoes stayed on until she set the papers, like they might slide away. In the kitchen, the house looked the same, which felt almost rude. Scarlett opened the junk drawer and found the 2 halves of her office badge where she'd dropped them. She set the pieces on the table beside her car keys and the printed hearing schedule Dana had given her. The badge plastic had a clean break, like it had never belonged to a person. She straightened the papers into one stack, clipped them, and wrote today's date on the top sheet. Then she slid her phone onto a charger and left it there. No alerts, no headlines, just silence. She walked to the closet and pulled out Brandon's navy coat, the one he wore to client dinners. From the desk drawer, she collected a few loose documents with his name, plus the little framed photo from their first office lease signing. Scarlett didn't throw anything across the room. She found a moving box in the garage, folded it open, and laid each item in with space between, as if separation made it cleaner. She taped the flaps shut, wrote in thick marker, "Pick up only," and set the box by the door. She didn't text him. That could wait tonight. Outside, the porch camera sat above the light fixture, angled toward the driveway, still dead. Scarlett fetched a small screwdriver and a replacement unit she'd bought months ago and never installed. The old camera came off with 2 turns. She held it in her palm, noticed a fingerprint smear on the casing, and set it in a plastic bag. The new camera clicked into place and the app finally asked to connect. She named the device Front Porch, turned on cloud recording, and watched the status light hold steady. She didn't feel better, but she documented. That was something. Back at the table, her phone lit up with Marisol's name. Scarlett didn't pick it up. She read the preview on the lock screen. "Are you okay?" Marisol had written. Scarlett typed with one thumb, keeping it short. "I sleep on time." She hit send, then powered the phone off and slid it face down beside the folder. In the next room, the dishwasher hummed through a cycle she'd started days ago. Scarlett checked the locks, set the spare key on a high shelf, and washed her hands. No messages, no calls, nothing to negotiate. She needed one clean night. Scarlett pulled a notepad from a drawer and wrote 3 lines. Bank branch, Dana's office, courthouse follow-up. She didn't add Brandon's name anywhere. She placed the notepad under the hearing schedule, then sorted the evidence into 2 piles, originals and copies. The originals went into a fireproof pouch she kept for passports. She zipped it and set it on the top closet shelf. The copies stayed in the tote by the door, ready for morning. Before bed, she checked the porch camera feed once, saw the driveway timestamp updating, and shut the app. A car passed. The light stayed. In the morning, she didn't linger over breakfast. She dressed, tied her hair back, and moved the box labeled "Pick Up Only" farther from the entry, out of the way of the mailbox. The badge pieces were still on the table. Scarlett picked them up, felt the sharp edge where Brandon had snapped it, and carried them out to the curb. The trash bin lid was sticky from summer heat. She lifted it, dropped the plastic halves onto the bagged coffee grounds, and let them slide out of sight. Her hands didn't shake. She closed the lid. The hinge snapped shut. Scarlett turned back toward the house, already reaching for her car keys, as if the next errand had been scheduled. The porch camera showed a live feed now, bright timestamp in the corner, recording without asking permission. She walked up the steps, glanced at the box by the door, and made sure the marker line was legible. Pick up only. No extra instructions. Her phone stayed on the kitchen counter, still powered off. She preferred to hear knock and footsteps instead of buzzing. For once, the house wasn't waiting on Brandon. As she reached for the doorknob, the doorbell rang. The doorbell rang again, sharp and impatient. Scarlett opened the door to a courier holding a flat envelope with Dana Kim's return address. He asked for her signature, then handed over certified copies of the court order and a one-page instruction sheet for the bank. She signed, closed the door, and slid the papers into the tote already waiting by the entry. 20 minutes later, she parked at the office and walked to the front doors with the order clipped on top. The security guard read the header, unlocked the door, and looked away like eye contact might be counted as taking a side. In the lobby, a handful of employees stood still, phones in hand, waiting to see what she would do. Scarlett nodded once and kept moving toward accounting without stopping to explain. She called a 10-minute meeting with payroll, accounting, and the interim HR lead in the smallest conference room. No one sat at the head of the table, so Scarlett didn't either. She laid the court order in the center and let it do the talking. The HR lead, a careful man named Peter, cleared his throat. "So, we're reinstating you?" "We're restoring payroll and access per the order." She pointed to the signature block with the judge's name. "Do you want me to retract the memo?" "Stop circulating anything new and tell people no one signs statements today." Accounting pulled up the payroll run, and Scarlett asked for the audit log, not an apology. By noon, Renee at the bank confirmed her signer profile was restored and the pending wires were frozen. "You'll need to come in with ID, but yes, you can authorize payroll again." "Thank you. Please note every attempted change from Brandon going forward." She forwarded the confirmation to Dana and to Marisol, then rerouted vendor payments back to normal schedules. Scarlett drafted a neutral email to partners and sent it from her personal account, copying Dana. "A court has issued a temporary order regarding company management. Operations will continue as scheduled while the matter is reviewed." Some partners replied with a simple acknowledgement, and one asked for a call. 2 never replied at all. A vendor tech showed up to re-enable the office printers, and the IT help desk restored Scarlett's admin role under Dana's written notice. The staff watched the logins work again, with the same cautious expression they used around a downed power line. When payroll finally processed, Scarlett didn't announce it. She sent the confirmation number to accounting and moved to the next problem. In the afternoon, a client who had paused renewals emailed back, agreeing to revisit next quarter, while another formally terminated and cited reputational risk. Scarlett saved both messages to the case folder and asked sales to stop making promises they couldn't keep. Brandon's mess started showing up as invoices that couldn't clear. The PR agency emailed 3 times about a declined payment, and Midtown Hotel sent a breach notice for false cancellation claims. Accounting forwarded each one to Dana, and Scarlett told them not to respond directly. Sloan never came back to the office that day, and her name disappeared from the shared calendar like it had been a typo. Someone had already deleted her LinkedIn announcement, but screenshots circulated anyway, passed between desks with the same guilty speed as candy at a funeral. Later, a facilities assistant asked about the leftover backdrop that still read, "New CEO," in tall white letters. "Do you want me to toss it?" "Don't throw it away. Keep it as a reminder that printed paper isn't a license." The assistant blinked, then rolled it into storage without another question. At 4:58, an email from Dana landed with the subject line, "Settlement Inquiry." Dana wrote that Brandon wanted to negotiate to avoid a formal referral for forgery and unauthorized filings. Scarlett printed it, clipped it behind the court order, and started typing a reply to Dana, asking for terms in writing. Before she could hit send, The office phone on her desk rang, the internal line flashing reception. "Scarlett, Brandon is in the lobby and says he needs to see you." Scarlett set her hands flat on the keyboard, then lifted the receiver. "Tell him to wait, and tell security to stay nearby." "He's pacing." "That's fine." She texted Dana from her restored company email, attaching the reception note. Dana replied within seconds. "Do not meet alone. I'm calling." Scarlett stood, grabbed the tote with the court order, and walked past desks that went still as she passed. Todd glanced up from his screen, then looked down. At the elevator, she pressed the button and watched the numbers change, the doors sliding open as voices carried from the lobby. She stepped in holding the folder before the doors closed. Scarlett rode the elevator down with the court order folder pressed to her side. The doors opened to the lobby and she saw Brandon near the reception desk, hands spread as he talked to the security guard. Dana's voice came through Scarlett's earbud, calm and clipped. "Do not speak to him without me." Scarlett stepped out, nodded to the guard, and pointed to the ceiling camera. "Please keep that recording." Brandon turned, smile already set, but he stopped when the guard lifted a hand between them. Brandon took a step forward anyway. "Scarlett, this is getting out of hand." She didn't move closer. She held up the judge's signature page like a badge that couldn't be snapped. "Talk to my attorney," she said. Elliot Crane appeared from the side corridor, phone to his ear, and Dana's number flashed on Scarlett's screen at the same time. The guard asked Brandon to wait by the seating area. Brandon complied, jaw tight, while Dana arrived in person through the revolving door and stood beside Scarlett without greeting. Scarlett didn't stay for whatever speech Brandon had prepared. Dana spoke to Elliot in low tones, then guided Scarlett back to her office and shut the door. Peter from HR and the payroll lead, Denise from reception, and Todd from operations filed in after a quick email invite marked mandatory. Scarlett placed a printed agenda on the table. "Payroll is running today. Access changes require 2 approvals. And the only authorized signer, per the order, is me." No one argued. They just started taking notes. An hour later, Scarlett stood in the break room with the whole staff squeezed between tables. She didn't mention marriage, Midtown, or Sloan. She read 3 points from a sheet and kept her eyes on the faces, not the phones. First, payroll will hit by end of day. If it doesn't, you call accounting, not rumors. Second, do not sign any statement you haven't read. If you feel pressured, forward it to Dana Kim. Third, the court order means changes to bank, vendors, and systems go through me and one backup. When she finished, she walked out before anyone could clap. IT reset permissions that afternoon. Scarlett required every admin password to be stored in a sealed vault and rotated on a schedule posted where everyone could see it. Marisol helped draft a simple checklist: 2-factor tied to a shared compliance phone, vendor changes logged, bank calls documented with ticket numbers. Todd asked, careful, if the steps were permanent. "Permanent enough to survive a breakup," Scarlett said. Later, a senior project manager named Ray Collins caught her near the copier. "Thanks for not dragging us into the mud," he said. Scarlett nodded and pointed at the checklist taped to the wall. "Keep the mud off the systems," she replied. Before leaving the office, Scarlett sent one more email to the staff. Payroll confirmation numbers, the new access policy, and a reminder that questions went through accounting, not group chat. She asked Peter to retract the resignation memo and replace it with a neutral note about the court order. He did, hands shaking slightly as he hit publish. At the bank, Renee confirmed the fraud ticket was open and promised to call if any wire was attempted again. Marisol texted a single word: "Good." Scarlett replied with the same: "Done." Ray taped the checklist by the time clock today. By the time Scarlett got home, the sky had turned the color of dishwater and the neighborhood had settled. She set her laptop on the counter, opened the payroll portal, and entered credentials that worked on the first try. The status bar moved, then a green label appeared: processed. Scarlett didn't cheer. She washed a plate, dried it, and stacked it with the others. Dana emailed an update about the divorce filing and the next court dates. The message ended with one line: "Ownership is clear. Consequences will take time." Scarlett ate standing up because sitting at the table felt like waiting for someone. She reread the bank confirmation, filed it in the pouch, and tossed the day's sticky notes. The box labeled "Pick Up Only" still leaned by the entry, untouched. She didn't move it. She didn't have to. After dinner, she stepped onto the porch and looked at the camera's red light, steady and recording. The app showed the last hour saved to the cloud without gaps. Her phone buzzed with a new message from a number she hadn't blocked yet. The preview line held 4 words: "We need to talk." Scarlett unlocked the screen, read it once, then set the phone face down on the small porch table. She turned the doorknob with her free hand and walked back into the house, leaving the camera light aimed at the driveway as the door swung shut behind her.